Section C. Social control.
Before we get too far into our discussion of social controls, we need to make an important point regarding this particular sociological discussion. We've been approaching the concept of deviance and the concept of social control from a functionalist viewpoint, and we have asserted and will continue to assert that to some extent social conformity is necessary for society. But there's a little conundrum here. What part of society are we talking about?
Some groups may follow norms and values even though they do not agree with them, and the norms and values are not in their best interest. This circumstance leads to conflict and inequality, two important subjects we'll be discussing later on in this tape. For now, let's continue down a more functionalist road in order to understand some basic sociological ideas.
Now let's get back on the on-ramp to the highway of social control.
Clearly, social control is an important part of societal stability.
Social controls are organized methods for teaching and enforcing conformity.
There are two different forms of social control, and we're going to explain each. These two social controls are informal and formal social controls. At the heart of informal social controls are relationships with significant others. Remember significant others?
Significant others are defined by Mead as people whose affection and approval are very important.
After you've done something good, significant others will say stuff like,
Good dog, here's a biscuit. Good kid, here's a cookie. Or good account executive, here's a BMW.
So, informal controls are a lot like a pat on the back by people who are considered important.
Formal control is defined by legal sanctions. These sanctions are enforced by institutions such as the police, the courts, and the various local, state, and federal legislatures.
The enforcement of norms is done through the threat of and implementation of rewards or punishments by those who represent an organization or institution, or the whole society. These formal agents of social control act on the basis of rules and laws, most of which are written.
Section